Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den, Games and Hobbies. You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-4633.
The Dragon's Den, where gamers unite. Spice the owner in Honesdale under neon lights. Video games, board games, cards at every site. A haven for all, where fun takes flight. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. From retro classics to the latest trends, dive into battles with allies and friends. Strategize your moves till the very end. In this realm of games, the fun never ends. Gather round for events galore, a place of joy like never before. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. Unleashing the hive, metal tools will be waiting. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NDT Gaming, our mission never raging. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall. I look for the games, both big and small. Big souls and cards, our friendship will sprawl. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. Anything gaming, our passion never raging. 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 From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeat fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters dance all.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NDT Gaming. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday. Hey, it's the last Friday before Christmas. I hope you got all your shopping done. If you're a last-minute shopper, don't worry, because Mike here down at Dragon's Den Gaming, Games and Hobbies, down on Main Street in Honesdale, he has all this stuff left for you guys to get for your loved ones. Bye, Mike. See you later. Hope you come back soon. But anyway, get yourselves down to Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies to get any kind of last minute gifts for your gamer kids, gamer friends, gamer relatives, whatever you got going on. He's got the gifts for you guys. Jared is out tonight. He has some things going on. He did have a birthday recently, so I'd like to wish him a happy birthday. I hope everyone else wishes him a happy birthday as well. Hope he has everything under control and had a great day for his birthday. Mike seems to have lost some service. Hopefully he gets back in here shortly, because he is the one with all kinds of stuff that he wants to talk about. So we're going to hold off, wait a little bit for him. Hope he gets his butt back in here. But in the meantime, I guess I could start with this, because this is the one thing that I had. He really wanted to get into some PlayStation stuff, some PS1, and talk about some Dino Crisis.
On a magical.
He's back, so I guess I'm not going to get into the thing I was going to talk about. We'll just get back into what Mike's got going on. Yeah. What happened there? Can you hear me, Mike?
We lost power.
You lost power? No kidding. I'm not surprised. The snow, it's beautiful, messing up all the roads. But I hope everybody, if you're out, you're going somewhere, you get back safe, and you travel cautiously. Cautiously. I didn't think we were supposed to get this much snow, man.
What's up, buddy?
I said I didn't know we were supposed to get this much snow.
Huh. I don't know.
Can't hear me? Mike, he can't hear it. You can't hear me? No, he
Can't
can't
hear.
hear me.
Wait a minute.
That's okay. Tactical difficulties. It's the beauty of a live show, everybody. He's regaining power in his facility, so his computer is booting.
You guys cannot plug in.
Bear with us. We've got lots going on as he tries to get back in to the computer. But we do have some stuff we want to talk about. You know, we hit on the PlayStation stuff a little bit 2 weeks ago with the PlayStation anniversary, 30th anniversary that happened. They had a lot of cool things going on with their system in general. I think it's cool that I got to choose the PlayStation 1 startup. All the nostalgia is coming back. I really like that. But I guess they recently had Dino Crisis available for free on the PlayStation Store. Mike kept telling me to get it. I was going to do it, but my old brain kept forgetting to. I know he wants to touch on Dino Crisis. He wants to talk a little bit of Batman Arkham Asylum. All right, we're waiting for you to connect your mic and cam there. Mike, before I can add you to the stage. There you go. Slowly but surely, we're getting things back together. You got your power back?
It's that stupid goblins we have.
The goblins. All right. Well, I was just telling them a little bit about the things you want to get to tonight. So, I was trying to carry it, but, you're the brains of the outfit on the gaming show. So I'm glad.
That's terrifying if I'm the brains of the corporation.
You are, man. You're the one with all the knowledge. I love gaming, but my knowledge is not as expansive as yours when it comes to all this stuff. I still have I've got a path that I follow. I've got a road that I go down, the same games that I like to play. You're the one with all this infinite wisdom. So I'm really relying on you for all this wisdom to come out. Is that scary?
Well, our little PlayStation had a birthday recently, and we were all excited about that. We did the Video Game Awards recently. That was, I guess for what you didn't have a lot to work with this year, I guess you did its best for what it can.
Yeah. So why don't we start with the PlayStation stuff?
PlayStation had a wonderful birthday, and it's one of those things where it really does make you step back and look and go, holy shit, this thing's been around forever. I remember getting PlayStation Magazine, and you get the demo CDs in the thing, and you had to that's how you got to see Metal Gear Solid, and that's how you got to see Crash Bandicoot, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I told you pre-show that I didn't even think about the demo discs until you mentioned it back there. I think I got the PlayStation Magazine when I was a kid as a birthday gift one year, and I thought that was the coolest part about the magazine is that you got those demo discs with it. I remember just having a stack of these things everywhere.
Well, everybody loved them because you got to try Parasite Eve, and you got to try Metal Gear Solid. You got to try Crash Bandicoot. Yes, Space Marine 2 should have won. 100%, Ed.
I haven't tried that one out
You
yet.
got to see all those great ones, and it was amazing. And it was Spyro before Christmas. And for me, Christmas will always be that little you got to play the first level of Spyro, and then it's well, if you like it, go bug your mom to go get it for you for Christmas. Metal Gear Solid lets you get to inside the facility, then it cuts off, obviously, because then they're go buy the game, kid.
Spyro's the one that I remember the most because I replayed that demo over and over again as a kid. Never got the game. My parents were yard sale people. They were flea market people. So if they couldn't find it cheap, they weren't getting it. For Christmas, I would get new games from time to time, but I was narrow-minded when it came to gaming when I was a kid. Final Fantasy just it hit something in me, and that's the kind of game that I loved to play. So I didn't really branch out much as a kid.
But I don't think there's that's awesome in its own right.
Yeah.
I've gotten the best game deals at flea markets, yard sales.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. PS1, its games were legendary. They didn't have a ton, but what they had was amazing.
Yeah, now I'm thinking back to when I got my first PlayStation for Christmas, and the following summer, my dad had a yard sale, and I decided, since I have the new PlayStation, I didn't need my Nintendo any longer. So I remember asking him to sell that for me at the yard sale. Worst decision I ever made. Worst decision I ever made as a kid. My collection of Nintendo games was legit. I had a lot, and I got rid of all of them.
But what I found even more wilder was like the PS1. It's like where you got introduced to like Resident Evil. You got introduced to these games that were like Gran Turismo, Tomb Raider, Legend of Dragoon. Like these were games that stuck with people for years and cemented their way into like video gaming history and lore. You know, Dino Crisis that everybody's screaming remake right now. They were supposed to show Resident Evil, I think 8 or 9 at the 9 at the awards, and they didn't. Where did it get its humble little starts? On PlayStation.
They did show a couple of others.
Saturn had it, you know.
Yeah.
Look at Final Fantasy VII, your game you love so much. What was the 3 biggest games on PlayStation? 7, 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
What was like the bigger games? Gran Turismo. I think that's where we got introduced to sports games. Medal of Honor, which literally, evolved into Call of Duties. You know what I mean? Like where people getting into that game. It's everything gets its humble beginnings from there. PS2, amazing. But really everything goes back to, going to Sears, going to JCPenney's and Sears and getting like the demos, just, dad and mom shopped back in the 90s, early 2000s, while dad's shopping in Sears, you went over to the electronics section, turned on the demo unit. Yeah. You guys sat there and that was like, holy crap. I didn't know what the hell like Tomb Raider was until you saw that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember being a kid, and the wildest thing to me was seeing that PlayStation controller for the first time because, I always had Nintendo, Sega Genesis. It was A, B, C, X, Y. And then you get this PlayStation controller and it's all these symbols. Like I thought it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, wow, this must be super cool. For some reason that just threw me. The controller itself.
It played CDs. And
yes,
nobody
thinks
about that. And I said for its time frame, that was wild.
It was that was the first CDs. One that played discs, right?
Yeah.
First system.
It was Sega CD came out, but really what cemented it in, it was Sega CD first, and then PlayStation came along and beat the snot out of it, and that was what cemented the thing. PS2 came out, and A Nation Survives, a Legend is Born.
Seriously. Yeah, PlayStation definitely formed my entire view on gaming. Just it changed everything for me. Like once I played that original PlayStation, man, that PS1, that was it. I was hooked. And I didn't want anything else. I wanted nothing. When Xbox came out, I wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't. I decided then and there that I was a PlayStation guy. Yeah.
There was a wrestling game, and it was all like these different characters, but you can be like Sephiroth, Aerith, and Cloud, and it's like it was like some weird,
really?
Like,
I don't remember that one.
And it was like finally like Sephiroth, like Aerith could go beat up Sephiroth. That's kind of like the payback for killing her. It's kind of like that fun little thing. But I mean, PS1 had Siphon Filter. That was incredible. It was a game that, like Metal Gear was groundbreaking. That the fact that Psycho Mantis was reading your memory card. That's like one of those things that concreted itself into like the, Street Fighter was on it. That was crazy. Then PlayStation Magazine came out, and every kid was like, okay, Nintendo's for kids. Time to get, serious about gaming. Let's get a PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And PSM Magazine was amazing. It was huge. It was like, we didn't know how good we had it with like the demo discs, and they did Game of the Year awards, and they did their own little version. And X-Play would do like a whole little like thing in there. And it was amazing. It was like the best thing to happen. Like you don't realize how good it was back then until you kind of look back and you're like, wow.
Yeah, you got a complete game when you bought a game, right? You still got a full game with the OG PlayStation.
Say what you want. Oh, the retro, the graphics suck. Yeah, but you got a full game.
It's crazy to me that that's all people think about Well, not all people, but when it comes to gaming, a lot of the younger kids, it's like, these graphics are terrible. I can't play this. A lot of that older stuff is a lot of fun, and it has good story. So as long as you can have fun playing it, who cares about the graphics? But I mean, look at the side scrollers coming back too.
Are you coming down tomorrow?
I might stop in tomorrow. We'll see what I got going on.
There's a Retron in the back hooked up, and it's got Tetris in it. I've had more kids pick up that Tetris game that were like, "This is amazing," and I was like, "It's Tetris," and they're like, "But it's Tetris," and I was like,
Alex says, "You lucky ducks got to play video games whenever
and
you wanted."
they sure did rot your brain.
Yeah, 100%.
Brain no work gooder because of video games.
Yes, terrible. Although, you know, the truth is, it really helps brain development, doesn't it? With all the problem solving skills you learn.
Oh, it 100% does.
I mean, maybe if you're playing like the mind numbing stuff, sure, maybe it does.
But I think that's where a lot of people like even forget where it was like, you know, video games were on that level of teaching hand-eye coordination. Later on, you know, I mean, I always go back to that thing where somebody made a video and it's Uncle Iroh sitting there teaching him, you know, like when he's saying, I forget the kid's name. I didn't really watch Avatar that much, but he's like, you know, this is the community, Xbox's community that you can build for like you had for last times. PlayStation loves single player games. They absolutely love being, you know, their own way. Nintendo, you know, when they do something right, it works wonderfully. PC loves to mod. And he's like, why are you showing me this, Uncle Iroh? He's like, so you don't become an obnoxious fanboy for one system. I, on the other hand, am the obnoxious fanboy for Sony and Nintendo. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry if nobody likes that.
At least it's two. At least it's two systems.
Xbox is not my console. PC is okay. I just don't have one. My wife does. It's great. But I was just a Sony kid. The titles were better. Everything was better. Everything worked to a better degree for that stance. I've talked to guys over who have like, when I go to like Nova, like when I've been to like all these other cons and stuff like that, talking to these guys who were like, dude, I still have like a PlayStation Net like Underground shirt from back when like they came out like 2003, and they're like, how do you still like? I remember that because you got to get the demos exclusively a week early before everybody else did. That was a crazy part of growing up. Was like before even getting into like Magic, Pokemon, like all those games and like the tabletop scene. Like it was kids gaming, and I mean before even that, it was like, you know. It was somewhere between that weird world of we didn't realize how good we had it between arcades and home console. There was just little couple years where everybody coexisted, and it was incredible. Being a gamer was an incredible time in like that 90s, early 2000s group. Now it's just I want to sit home, stare at a screen, and shit talk some kid on, you know, Xbox.
It's so bad. Like my kid, all right, he's really into Fortnite, and I told this story at work earlier today because it just makes me shake my head. But he plays Fortnite a lot, and he was explaining to me what he likes to do on Fortnite one day. He's like, yeah, I like going into creative mode. I like to play. I'm like, why do you play in creative? Why not do the battle royale? He's like, well, I go into creative and I mess with kids. You know, I'll spam them with a rocket launcher, and then they'll all get mad at me, and then they'll all try to kill me, and then they can't kill me because then I start using whatever the heck he said he uses. I'm like, you're a troll. And he's just grinning at me. I'm like, why do you do that?
Yeah, to these kids, being a troll is the greatest thing that could ever happen to them. They absolutely love it, and they think that it's like the greatest thing in the world now to like shit talk. I said, it's fine when you're behind the keyboard. I said, get to somebody's face and say that. Crazy thing about Warhammer, you want to shit talk somebody, you're only 3 feet away from them. So it's like,
you know what videos scare me are the ones that well, they make me laugh too, but it's the videos where these guys know how to find out who you are and where you live, and they try to teach kids a lesson. They start calling them by name. The kid starts freaking out a little bit, then they call out their address. I mean, clearly they censor that stuff out for the videos that they put out, but then it gets the kid really scared stiff. I'm like, dude, these kids got to learn that you can't do things without repercussions.
But they won't.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, exactly. He's ridiculously good at these games too. It pisses. That's what I told my buddy Nick earlier today too. I was like, dude, because he's the one I told this story to. I'm like, the problem is he's really good at the game, and I hate it. I hate watching him play. It does piss me off watching him play.
I'm driving up. It's huge.
Can you play some of that Witcher trailer real quick?
Bear with me. My computer is not the best, but I can try. I might spin. So if I freeze, this is why. Because my computer does not like to do these things.
I just want to show everybody that Witcher trailer and how amazing it was.
Dude, it looks so good. Let me see what I can do here.
If I drop my because when you go to like low screen, if I drop my camera for a second, would that help, you think?
No, it's just my computer. The RAM in this computer is terrible. It just doesn't like to multitask. Let me see. With audio. Okay. Let's see what we got.
Make me proud, son.
Here we go. You got audio on it, Mike?
I've watched
Yeah.
you come from a devilishly pure child into a remarkably young lass with much grace, wisdom, and kindness. Take the easy times what shape us, nay. 'Tis how we rise to face the hard times what does that for us. Even heart of gold. You've the spirit to overcome adversities aplenty. Darling, sweeten. Today's the day ye fill out your destiny.
It does. It looks so good. This game does look amazing.
Forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
I shall be the bringer of salvation.
A witcher? Witcher! Whose coin did you take? Nay, you can't. 'Tis tradition. Chosen she is, by the gods.
No! You chose her. Back to the village. Go, now.
Nay! I must save them! Save the village!
Save yourself! Run! To shelter! To your father! Run!
The cinematic stuff is just incredible. Well, it works for a little bit, but you get a good glimpse of the game.
Only for a little.
Okay, if I go sit down.
You got a good glimpse of the game. It looks incredible. That part of the game really got, like, that part of the trailer got me. But you guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go find the trailer. Go find it on YouTube. Watch it through the end. The end will piss you off. But yeah, ridiculous.
But that pissed a lot of people off that you could, like, that she's taking over. And it's like,
yeah,
he set her up to take over.
yeah. But how cool was it? Now, you played Witcher 3, right? Like, you played Witcher 3.
You played them all, right? Have you played them all?
I haven't played them all. I've played 3. But in 3, it was so much fun to play the parts as Ciri. Like, how could you not want to play as her in this next? And you know what? You had to know that Geralt's story was done. If you're not going to play as Ciri, who are you going to play as?
When you take the Witcher oath, it cuts your life in half. You don't have the full 100 years. You only go enough to kill, and then you eventually succumb to it and you die in battle. That's kind of how a Witcher is. It's not you live for 200 years. No.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, and I think it looks beautiful.
You saw him with the gray. You saw him with the white. You saw that he's getting up there and he's got to pass it on to somebody else. Yeah, he's already got the silver hair, so does she, whatever. But you got to pass that on. So he was already setting her up to take over, and everybody was like, I don't like it. Guy, where did you think they were going to go?
Yeah. Yeah, and one of my hopes was that it was going to be Ciri that was the lead in this, because I thought she was a great character in 3. Now, however, I need to, and my wife's going to love hearing this, I need to read the books. I need to see the story and see where it goes.
The books are absolutely fantastic.
So I'm going to start reading more, and she's going to be a big fan of that.
If you stop up tomorrow, I have one of the books, and it's all D&D lore based in Italy. It's all their their myths and legends and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of these stuff that came out of Witcher was Slavic, that European area. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
So that's kind of neat to see that. But a lot of people were like, I don't like this. I didn't think it shouldn't be her. It should be somebody else. If you haven't been paying attention, then I'm sorry. You haven't been paying attention. You knew she was taking over.
Yeah. My question would have been who else? I just don't know who else they would have wanted, or if they just want a new character altogether.
Dandelion's going to take over.
Could you imagine a story that follows Dandelion? Mm-hmm.
It's a bard that gets caught in a succubus lair, and she had to be like, well.
So I kept trying to look through the whole trailer, and I don't know if I noticed or not, but did she have the Witcher eyes? Yeah, she had the Witcher eyes. Okay, so I'm very intrigued to see how all of that worked out, because I thought, based on the last game, that she couldn't become a Witcher.
We'll see where they go. I mean, this is just the first thing they showed us. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of...
Exactly. That's why I'm so excited about it, because I think that they're going to have a great story to tell.
Hey, Witcher fans, at least you got a video. Resident Evil was supposed to get a video for 9, and we didn't see shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be Leon, and it's going to be Jill. That's all they've been telling us.
And that's all they need. That's all they need to tell you, because you know it's Leon and Jill. You're going to buy it. And you're going to buy it because it's Resident Evil.
Well, it's the dream team. It's like Chris, Leon, Claire, Jill, and I think Ada's back in it. So I'm like, it's the freaking dream team back together again. And everybody's like, would you ever see the movies?
Mm-hmm.
When they did Death Island, there's a scene where they're all lined up across the screen. And it was a shot for the fans, because it's like Chris is sitting next to Claire, who's sitting next to Leon, who's sitting next to Rebecca Chambers, who's sitting next to Jill. And it's like the whole dream team lineup. And you're like, okay, yeah, I see what they did. It was really great to see, there was private things even for the video game awards that, Space Marine 2 did not win Game of the Year, and that pissed a lot of us off, because that game was incredible.
Yes. Yeah, there was a lot of hype talk about that game. You were talking about it, Jared was talking about it, and the whole internet was talking about it. I haven't played, I haven't watched all that much of it either, but I mean, it seems like
Do you want to play a 1-minute game tomorrow of it?
A 1-minute game?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that.
I'll let you throw dice one time and we'll see how you like it. That way you can say, there, I played Warhammer.
There you go. There was another game that was shown at the Game Awards, wasn't there? Another one revolving around dinosaurs, I heard.
Turok.
I did not watch the trailer, and I'm going to have to after this.
Turok week comes back.
I saw a little bit of it. I saw a little bit of the highlights of it, and it actually looked really freaking cool. That's something that I would play.
Turok is one of those weird games that, like, you're either all about it because it takes you back to simpler times, or you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground with Turok. You're either like the diehard fan, or you're like, It's like sports games when they come out. I almost compare it to like the WWE games, where it was like you either got the special collector's edition every year, or you just were like, okay, it's the same John Cena versus, Roman Reigns, it's just updated rosters.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited to check that one out. But is that a remaster, a remake, or is it like a new story of Turok?
It's a whole new breed. There's nothing crazy about like the story of Turok. It was just like one of them's like a military unit got shot down and there's dinosaurs, so he's like going out there and he's part like whatever, going out there to kill him. Yeah. You got a bow and arrow, and it was kind of like that whole like to go kill him with like a dinosaur with like your knife and your bow and arrow and the whatevers.
The whatevers. And see, that was on N64, right?
It was on N64.
I never had that, so I never played it.
It was supposed to be like one of the big selling games, but it was like coming up the same year as like GoldenEye. And how the hell were you going to compete with GoldenEye when GoldenEye won the whole like sleepover game of the year? Hey Corey, come over. Like we're gonna play, get Little Caesar's Pizza and GoldenEye all night with Mountain Dew, and talk about how icky girls are and shit. I don't know.
I noticed since we're talking about the Game Awards, I noticed that there's some breaking news about the Game Awards. Just you read that bottom line there. All Game Awards 2024 winners have been deemed ineligible. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth wins every category. It's official. It's official, right?
I don't know. It did win best sound, I think, soundtrack of the year, and of course it did.
That's it.
I mean, Final Fantasy's sound is like the music for that game is just outstanding. It 100% is. I mean, that's not even close to being, whatever. It's gorgeous. It's perfect. Everybody loves it. It's won awards for everything it did. They're talking about doing a cleanup version of 4 to come back out. They're talking about like a bunch of things that they're going to do. Capcom and Square Enix have been very busy lately. It was pretty cool to see like that it was even the anniversary of like the PS2, because they released it almost the same time as like PlayStation 1, I want to say.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. I mean, I remember watching X-Play videos, and they were waiting outside, and they did a live from like California. And it was like the PS2 release where people are waiting in line. You're not even promised you're going to get one, and people were waiting in line to get one of these PlayStation 2s.
I'm waiting for PlayStation 6 now, very impatiently. But PlayStation 2 is another one of those systems that, it had a lot of those memorable titles, like the Need for Speed Underground games that I loved so much.
I mean, that's what brought Resident Evil Code Veronica X. That's what got everybody into like the Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. That was like another Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty that brought all like that was a launch to like one of the big titles that were coming out. Everybody was like, oh my god, you have to go play this. You're a loser if you don't. Like it was wild. And it was such a crazy time. Like I said, it's just one of those golden times of being a gamer where you just have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, we had the privilege of growing up in that era where we started from the bottom. Now we're here, basically. Like, like the song. We started with the simple stuff like Atari and NES, and now we're able to play PS5, and we're able to play these games on PC that eclipse anything we would have ever imagined as kids. Like you see the polygons in Final Fantasy VII, and you're like, oh man, this is so cool. 3D, it's on a disc. This is incredible. And now people scoff at that kind of thing. Like we grew up through all of it.
Where it was just like, holy crap, so ahead of its time with the you know what I mean? And it's like even watching like Resident Evil 2 on like the place and like the PS1 where it's like they're all squared and boxed off, and it's like, Leon talking to Aiden, it's just his hands this box, and it's like, don't go there. And you're like, oh god, it's awful and it's terrible. But it was fun, and it's all we had, and it was great, and you didn't care.
Yeah. So back onto the Game Awards winners, man. I'm looking at the list, and I didn't watch it the night that it was on. I had other things that I was watching or doing, so I didn't watch it. But I got the list here, and I got to ask you about Astrobot. I know I asked you a little bit about it before, but that's the one that won Game of the Year.
Astrobot. It should have. I mean,
you think it should have?
Well, Space Marine 2 to me, because it's me and my store is covered in Warhammer stuff, so it should.
That wasn't even a finalist. I mean, the only two that I really know on this list of finalists is Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, and then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Those are the only other two that I really recognize. I don't know these other ones.
It is a good game. It was fun. It was like one of those, it was fun to game again games. It didn't feel like one of those games too where it was like, for $20 extra, I get a better soundtrack. For, $15, I get to do this. For $42, it's got cheese skins. For this, it's got that. And you just get to a point you're just like, why am I doing this again? They're like, oh, man, it's a game that we had fun.
It's really funny because it's funny you say that, because right before the show, it was like quarter of, my son knocks on my door and asks me if I can put some money on the PlayStation account so he can get something. And it's like, it's becoming a thing where it's like every payday they're asking for it. And I'm like, dude, I can't do it. Like, what? You're not even buying games. You're buying skins for this and silly things for that. And it's all the freemium stuff just for what? For what? It doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Because you could tell your friends on the playground, hey, I got mom and dad to buy me this, or whatever.
Exactly. It's just,
I don't know. We never really.
It's a wild time, man.
But if we were kids and the skins were available, would you have wanted them?
Silver and gold.
I don't know. Like maybe when I was young, but when I was a teenager, I understood being frugal with your money. I understood not wanting to spend money on silly crap. Like I would have wanted games. I would have wanted more experiences. Right? And that's just who I am. Even when the online thing started, I played Call of Duty. I played Madden. I wasn't really big on playing online. I prefer to sit in my house, grab my drink, have my snack, play my game by myself. That's what I want to get more games that have a cool story so I can just dive into it and just completely go into the game. I don't care about all that weird shit.
For some of the games now, you kind of have to go back to do that.
Yeah, well, that's how I want to do things, man. I don't know. I think even as a kid, I wouldn't have wanted skins. I don't think I would have been all excited about it. I'm going through this list, and some of these other ones: best audio design, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Now I remember the first one. I still haven't played through it. I do have it on Steam. It's like literally the only game I have on Steam. But if you're talking
time to do that, you know what I mean?
But if you're talking audio design, even without playing Hellblade 2, I think I can understand how that one won, because the first one, they really tried to mess with your psyche. You play it if you have to play it with headphones on. And the way they did their audio just really messed with you, because it's supposed to make you feel schizophrenic, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, good for doing that. I mean, absolutely good for them. I think it's great. I really did look at the list, and I was kind of pissed off that night when I was reading them off. I was sitting at the store and going like, that didn't deserve that. That didn't. And then I'm really thinking, well, what the hell really came out that was really like earth shattering, that everybody should have been like, where there's been times where like Arkham City came out and it just won everything, and it should have. There's time when like, Metal Gear Solid's like the guy who did Enemy of the State did their sound, and it was incredible. Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Middle Earth came out, and everybody was like, ooh and ah, and oh my god, it won Game of the Year and all this stuff. It was incredible. But like, you know, it's one of those things where you go, holy crow, you know, these are exquisite games that you could talk about for ages. Even look at Left 4 Dead, or who like that Badger, I forget her name, God bless me, she's gonna hate me for that.
Honey Badger, Rabbit
Honey Badger. They're all playing freaking what the hell is it? Left 4 Dead and what's the other one?
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. Those games won, I think, awards when they came out, and like they came out years ago. People are still playing them today. I mean, I have Arkham City on the TV right now, and you can see the cutscenes and everything. I mean, Batman's cape flowing in the breeze with the snow hitting off of it. Like that was a PS3 game. That was incredible. Yeah. And like, what really compares to it now? And then you see some of these other games, and you're like, it's okay. Call of Duty won a few awards because it's Call of Duty, and every 16-year-old has to play it. You know.
Well, I'm looking at the ongoing game, like you were talking about, games like that. I mean, I see and I know all of these finalists: Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and then you have Helldivers 2 in there, and that one's the winner. So yeah, I'm trying. But I'm trying to understand that, because that's one best ongoing game. Like, how long has that been out? That hasn't been out for over a year, has it?
Almost. I mean, it feels like it though. But I mean, that's a big game that a lot of people from my store. Okay, we're doing Helldivers tonight. I mean, up until Space Marine 2 came out, then everybody dropped Helldivers and everybody just went to play Space Marines. But I mean, I have the, you know, Black Templar flags and everything else in my store. So like we were hellbound for Black, you know, for Warhammer anyway. But it is a good game. It is fun. It's good in its own right. But that's just how it is.
I'm kind of amazed it beat out Final Fantasy 14 though, or even Diablo.
I didn't really play a lot of Helldivers too, though. But where I came from, I was always big into like non-first person like game like that. I was always big into like, you know, don't play with a group of people, that kind of stuff. You know, don't do this, don't do that. I like solo player. That was me. I was Final Fantasy kid. I was a Resident Evil kid. That was me.
Yes. Well, I mean, you should be happy with the best VR AR game, Batman Arkham Shadow.
Batman VR was wild to go out and like actually do that. Like you are through the eyes of Batman, and it is nuts and it's fun. And they did a great job with that. And like even working like at my days at GameStop, like there was days where, you know, watching the new stuff come out was wild because you're like, how much better can we get than this? And our Sony rep came down and she brought in a VR headset for everybody to try. And that was like, dude, you're going to give kids motion sickness with this thing. And they're like, oh, yes, they did. I had a kid who went to a VR bar. One of the former Plays 2 is here with me. He's shaking his head, remembers those things. But the one kid put it on in our store and he started getting a little like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. And like his dad grabbed him, ran him to the front of the store, like shoved him out the door, and he just called dinosaurs in the parking lot. He's like, I know how long as a parent I have before my kid yarks. Like,
that's great.
And I mean, you as a parent know too. You know the sign of the if your cat or your kid starts beatboxing, you know you only have like X amount of time before yark, and then that's it.
Oops.
I have successfully, knock on wood, have not had one kid yark in my store before, and I really keep it that way.
Yeah. You're right. You do know. You know the signs. I'm very upset at the lack of love for Final Fantasy VII, man. Like I didn't think it was as bad as everyone else did, and it seemed to have been a finalist in a lot of categories. But it even lost Best RPG.
You're messing with something that's like a holy relic. That all you had to do was go in and tell the story and not pull this whole bullshit that like Eris might be dead, but she's not dead. But then she's got the black materia. Then she's got the light materia, but she might not be. But she's portal jumping all over the place. And it's like people got to the end and they said, "Now it may continue." People said, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah. I was left wondering what the hell's going on. But I mean, aside from that, I thought that the gameplay and everything else was really good on it. But I need to know, how much do you know about the game that won Best RPG? Metaphor ReFantasio. Never
heard about it. I watched a couple of videos of it. it looked fun. It looked like it was
Yeah.
a great game, but I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like there's different types of RPGs. There's tactical RPGs. There's overworld RPGs. What kind of RPG do you want to do? Do you want to do a Dragon Age RPG? Do you want to do a tactics RPG? It's like saying you like seafood. Okay, what kind of seafood do you like? You know what I mean? I like Chinese food.
Yeah.
What kind of Chinese food do you like? You know what I mean? I have a Pennsylvania accent. From what part of PA do you have the accent from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the other category that I thought was pretty neat was best adaptation. I didn't know that they did that with this Game Awards, but Fallout being the winner makes sense. I can't wait to see
Fallout
season 2.
100% deserved what it got. Fallout was god tier. I have the Brotherhood of Steel flag above my thing. Ad Victoria, I loved it to death. It deserved everything. That series was done perfectly. We had a watch party in store and had Nuka-Cola. I mean,
Did you really?
yeah,
That's
we had
cool.
a watch party in store. We did Nuka-Cola. We did all that. It was amazing. Everybody loved it. It was fun. And like we're going to do for watch party too. Corey, you are invited. Drew, you're invited. We're going to do another watch party when season 2 drops. You guys got to be here for it.
That's cool. That's
Fallout
cool.
2
It looks cool, man. Like I can't wait. And the one other thing I wanted to touch on before we are done for the night was there's another game coming out, and I don't know if I saw a trailer. I just read about it, heard it talked about. It's another Assassin's Creed game. It seems like they churn these things out so quick, and they're almost like copy and paste games in a different world.
It was Assassin's Creed, but it wasn't Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, well, is it, from what I understood, it was like with samurais and shit. Sorry, and stuff.
No, it's the probably Ninja versus Samurai thing or whatever it's going to probably be because that was the whole time period.
Yeah, and that's an Assassin's Creed game. Really?
Oh dear God, that Assassin's Creed game that's gonna do horrendous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love the Japanese culture. Like I love the history of it, the samurai deal.
But
you know, because I love anime and shit. But yeah, and you know, I still have to play a bunch of these games from that are in that style. You know, Sekiro, I gotta play. I want to play that new samurai one that's out. I think it's just called Samurai, isn't it? Or the Last Samurai or something, Last Ronin.
I mean, there was a bunch of them, or that Shinzi Kenzi or whatever the hell it was called. It was from a while back ago. I remember that.
But I want to know how they're gonna do. I want to know how they're gonna incorporate samurai and stuff with Assassin's Creed.
But samurai weren't the assassins. The ninja clans were the assassins that you sent out. It wasn't the samurai. Samurai was to serve.
Yeah,
you were the noble birth warrior. You weren't the sneaky. Actually, I think the samurai looked heavily down on the ninja for being on like how honorable they are and how like ninjas are sneaking around being all that crap. I don't know. I could be wrong. I gotta get my touched up. I was watching Shogun a little bit on FX. I read the books, amazing. But yeah, I mean, God bless it. No one's tried harder to kill their franchise faster than Ubisoft.
Seriously. Honest to God,
the CEO came out and said, it's the fans' fault our games are failing. It's your fault. You're not buying it. And it's like the number one killer of anything is to come out and say, you're the problem. And it's like, you're the ones that need to fix this, not us. Yeah. You don't like, you're not buying this game. You're renting it. Be happy. You even get a game anymore. And it's like, you threw the bird at me, dude. Like, I'm not giving you money now.
Well, and with Assassin's Creed, man, that's one of those games where like I had a lot of fun with Origins and Odyssey. I liked them because I liked the history and I liked that they utilized like real world history with it, and they did a good job on the maps. But then they started just pushing them out so fast, and it literally is like a copy and paste game. It's just a different world, different locations, but you do the same things over and over again, and it gets too repetitive for me. So that's why I haven't played Valhalla yet. My wife bought it. She has it. I started it one day and I never went back to it because, again, it's repetitive.
Yeah, I could see that where you get a little repetitive. And it's like,
take this out.
With Final Fantasy, though, all you're doing is level grinding. You're going here, level grind. Go here, level grind. Level grind, level grind, level grind. Go here, level grind. And for a lot of people,
however, there's good stories to the Final Fantasy franchise. It's always something different and it's always unique.
when you buy a Final Fantasy game, you know going in though, Corey, that you're buying this thing to level grind an RPG.
Yes.
That's what you're buying. This isn't Resident Evil Dino Crisis that you're going to beat in 5 hours and you're going to go, yippee hooray, look at me, I did it. That's not what you're buying Final Fantasy for. That's not what you're buying Fire Emblem for. That's not what you're buying these bigger RPGs for. When you buy the game, you want to get at least a 60 to like 70 hours out of it.
I want my money's worth, damn it. Seriously.
What are games like $60? They're $70 now.
Yeah.
It better be damn incredible for me to sit there and do this, you know?
Dude, if I pay $70 for a game and I'm done with it in 4 hours, 5 hours, and I don't want to pick it up again for another year, no, I don't like that. I don't like it. Couldn't do it. That would just drive me nuts.
I know, but it was.
All right. So what else do you have for tonight that you want to hit on?
I think we hit on everything, dude.
Yeah. I think we got to it.
That was a great show. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Dark. Yeah, absolutely. Again, we'll try to be on in 2 weeks from today, 7 p.m., same time, same place, ladies and gentlemen. This Sunday night is our next variety show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, Christmas Eve, 9 a.m. Join us. Grab a drink, grab some eggnog, hot cocoa, grab your cookies, whatever you got going on. Hop on, hang out, chat with us. No real direction for that show, but we're going to hop on. We're going to have a good time. So make sure you tune in for that. 2 more things. Remember, we still have our Christmas album for sale up on the website in our shop. Each song is $1 a piece. There's 5 different songs. All proceeds from that will go to the holiday toy drive here in Wayne and Pike counties. And we do still have that baseball signed by Derek Jeter, authenticated with a certificate, up for auction on our website. Everything made from that auction will be donated to the Ronald McDonald House charity down in Danville, PA. That is something that we collaborated with this gentleman right here. He provided the baseball, we provided the platform, and we are going to make a donation to the local Danville Ronald McDonald House.
Cannot wait to see how big that turns out from that, because that's going to be amazing to see how that goes. I thought that was really cool. We were absolutely thrilled to donate to the, Ronald McDonald House. I mean, we did Zipper Toy Junction here. Like every year we donate to something amazing, and I'm glad we got to be part of that.
Yep. The Zipper Toy Junction is the charity that we are working towards getting a donation for with our Christmas stuff too. That's the one that we're doing. But yeah, so I think right now the current bid is still at $225. So I expect it to be a little bit higher. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. If you can get it for around that, if you can get it for under $300, you have a great piece of memorabilia at a great price. It is authenticated with that certificate. That means a lot in that respect. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you all later.
Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies. You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-4633.